Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. I wanted to dig a little bit deeper into what I had spoke about last time. I mentioned that God put something on my heart to pray about, and it was to pray for the Christians, specifically during this time, that we could just live in a way that people are drawn to us because of how at peace we are with what's going on. So I know that's easier said than done. God says, do not fear, a bunch of times in the Bible. Isaiah 43, Deuteronomy 31, 1 John 4, just to name a few. So again, I know that's easier said than done. So I just want to talk about a couple ways that can make that a little bit easier during this time. Um, so what happens is when we are in the midst of a storm or a problem or the coronavirus, we tend to, and I know I fall into this category, we tend to focus on that problem so much. I know in the beginning of all this, I was constantly checking Twitter and the news and just, talking back and forth with my family about what was going on and the numbers and the statistics and all that, and it just consumed me so much, and I knew I had to change that. Um, so that kind of happens in the Bible. One story came to mind when I was like thinking about all this, and it's with when the disciples joined Jesus on the boat during a storm. So Matthew 8:23 says, "Then he got into the boat, and his disciples followed him. Without warning, a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat. But Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke him, saying, 'Lord, save us, we're going to drown.' He replied, 'You have little faith. Why are you so afraid?' Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm." So what's happening is when I was checking Twitter, watching the news, all that stuff, my eyes were focused on the storm and I was panicking, which I'm sure most of us were doing or are doing. But Jesus was at peace. He was sleeping. So we are called to be like Jesus. So they were focused on the storm. They were too focused on the storm. Rather than focusing on Jesus and his peace. And because we're called to be like Jesus, we're called to be at peace during the storm. So there are some things that I came up with to kind of help be at peace during a storm. First is probably the most obvious, and that would be to stay in prayer. So staying in prayer, praying, not only focuses our mind on Jesus, but it also helps us to recall what he has done for us in the past. It helps us to recall his faithfulness to us in the past and the storms that he has already brought us through. So I think that is something that's very helpful, just that reminder that, oh yeah, I've dealt with this before, but God has always helped me. Another thing is to think about good things. So in Philippians 4, it says, "Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." So I think turning our minds into think about good things and not let those bad thoughts, what if this happens, what if that happens, overcome us, I think will help us to not fear so much and to be more at peace in this situation. Another thing I came up with was just putting on some worship songs, just turning off the news, turning off Twitter, social media. I don't check that nearly as much anymore. And just putting on some worship songs and just praising Jesus for who he is and what he's going to do in this situation and just his faithfulness. I think that's a great option. And then lastly, I would say read a book, do a puzzle, do some coloring, anything like that to keep your mind off of the situation around you. When it's nice out, get outside, anything like that. If you're with family, play some games, talk about things that you don't get to talk about when you guys are all busy and focused on other things. So those are my thoughts about how to overcome fear and kind of be at peace with what's going on. So hopefully that helps you, as it has been helping me these last couple days. And stay home, stay healthy. I want to get back to school. I miss my high school kids. So see you next time.